every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Gift or Gete in our major story. Over 50 heads of states expected for the inauguration of Muhammadu Buhari as President of Nigeria. Also in this program, Nigeria's military scores a first with the commissioning of first military-owned radio in sub-Saharan Africa. Unknown persons burned down the popular Ojaoba market in Ado-Ekiti. Outside Nigeria, Islamic State claims responsibility for suicide bomb attack in Shia worshippers at Imam Ali Mosque in Saudi Arabia. Good to have you join us on CoreTV Primetime News. Now details of the headlines and other stories. The federal government is expecting heads of government from at least 60 countries for the inauguration of the incoming Buhari administration. It is therefore working out arrangements for adequate security ahead of the May 29th presidential inauguration. Chairman of the presidential inauguration, Edem Duke, disclosed this at the news conference on arrangements for the handover ceremony.
A.m. The 54 countries on the continent of Africa have been invited. Very many of the heads of state will be coming. There has been a huge interest, especially from heads of countries in Europe, to attend this inauguration. And at the last count, I think we must have in excess of about 50 heads of states and delegations expected at this inauguration. So this in itself is a plus for the image of Nigeria, that we have attracted such positive attention to this inauguration.
A Jumat prayer session has been held at the Abuja National Mosque as part of activities lined up for the May 29th handover ceremony. With many politicians in attendance, it provided Deputy Chief Imam of the mosque, Mohammed Kabir, opportunity to advise politicians to be trustworthy. He noted that leadership entails sacrifice, and anybody who wants to lead must be honest and ready to make sacrifices. Basil Okafo has more in this report presented from our studios.
It's a special Jumat prayer for the inauguration of the incoming government on May 29. These faithful here are praying for peace and unity in Nigeria. Security personnel were also on hand to forestall any breakdown of law and order. In his sermon, the Deputy Chief Imam of the mosque did not mince words in warning politicians against personal enrichment.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, say, who have transgressed against themselves by committing evil deeds and sins. May Allah forgive our past leaders and grant them His Jannah of Al-Firdaus. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار.
Vice President Namadi Sambo and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar were among dignitaries that attended the prayer. In one voice, they echoed optimism of a better future for Nigerians.
For the incoming administration to continue with the progress and development of Nigeria. Amen.
Special Friday prayers is the khutbah. The khutbah talks specifically about prayers for the outgoing administration and for the incoming administration. The chief imam prayed very hard to ensure that we all understand the reality of time, that everything has its time. The time of the present administration will end in the next 1 week, and then we'll have a new leadership by the special grace of Allah in the next 1 week. And just like the president has already congratulated and wished the incoming administration well, today we do special prayers in that regard.
The activities continue on Sunday with an interdenominational church service at the National Christian Center.
President-elect Muhammad Buhari has travelled to Britain on a private visit ahead of the May 29th handover ceremony. His media team said in a statement by Gaba Shehu that it is his first trip outside the country since winning the March 28th presidential election. He added that the president-elect will use the opportunity of the visit to take a much-deserved rest ahead of his inauguration on May 29th. Shehu noted that President-elect Buhari is expected back in the country a few days before the inauguration. He, however, not confirmed or denied speculations that Minister of Petroleum Resources Desiani Alison Madueke travelled on the same British Airways flight with the President-elect. Rival groups of party supporters stormed the National Secretariat of the People's Democratic Party on Friday. Members of one of the groups under the aegis of the PDP National Renaissance Movement, led by Dr. Ayakeme Whiskey, asked for the resignation of the entire National Working Committee. According to him, the honourable thing for members of the NWC to do after the party's poor outing at the polls was to bow out gracefully. No sooner had they left than another group under the aegis of PDP Grassroots Forum came to the Secretariat to rally support for the NWC. Leader of the group, Desmond Adejo, said calls for the resignation of members of the NWC were coming from hirelings who were desperate to destroy the party. He explained that the party was built on a foundation of rule of law. He also explained that the temporary setback should not be the basis of truncating the tenure of committed party members. President Goodluck Jonathan has said he plans to engage in peace missions across the country after he leaves office on May 29th. He disclosed that he would be meeting ethnic and religious leaders across the country on the need to allow peace reign in the land. President Jonathan, who spoke shortly after he was presented with the 2015 Epitome of Peace award by the Apostolic Church, said it would encourage him to do more for the country. The field superintendent of the Apostolic Church in the FCT made the presentation at the Presidential Villa, Abuja.
Reconciling the world unto himself, not imputing their trespasses unto them, and has committed unto us the word of reconciliation. On this note, I have the singular honor and privilege on behalf of the Council of the Apostolic Church, Nigeria FCT, to present and confer on you the Epitome of Peace Award for your exemplary leadership character, dedication, and sacrificial service to Nigeria and Nigerians, which generation to come will emulate.
So for you to honor me today, that is another mandate you are giving to me, that I should even work harder to ensure that we as Nigerians continue to live in peace. And one thing I have decided that I will do after leaving office is to make sure that I will be talking to all faithfuls of all religions, Christians, Muslims, and other religions, the need for Nigerians to live in peace. Because when there is crisis in any part of the country, nobody can practice his own belief. If there is crisis anywhere, people cannot go to the mosque, they cannot go to the church. So we need peace in this country, no matter what our religious persuasion, no matter our beliefs. And that will be one of my main commitments when I leave office, to reduce discrimination in this country based on religious divide or ethnicity. And I believe I will have so many apostles so that will follow me to do that.
Nigeria's military authority have launched the first armed forces radio station in sub-Saharan Africa. Outgoing President Goodluck Jonathan commissioned the facility and called on the military to extend support to the incoming administration of Muhammadu Buhari. Paz Sambo has more.
Today, that we are launching the radio station, will be a turning point where some of our operations is totally covered, and Nigerians will know. If Nigerians know what the military is doing, what they are passing through, Nigerians will remain grateful. I use the opportunity to call on all Nigerians, both our senior citizens and our ordinary citizens, to appreciate the commitment and sacrifices of the armed forces. We are mistaken if these people we are not working. I always feel these worries and sometimes denial with very naive in people, naive comments about the armed forces and the police.
The barrage of negative propaganda against the Nigerian military by certain foreign media outlets and their local collaborators brought to the fore the need to have an outreach through which a entirely accurate account of activities of the Nigerian military could be disseminated to the generality of our populace in general and the military community in particular. It is therefore the need to present a more accurate account of the activities of the military as well as a medium for the relaxation and entertainment of our men and women in uniform that this radio station was conceived and established.
The Infantry Corps of the Nigeria Army has held a pull-out parade for 34 retired generals in Kaduna. The retired officers who were pulled out include former Chief of Training and Operation at the Defense Headquarters, Joseph Shoboki. Amina Nebi has more in this report presented from our studios.
This is the highest honor a top military officer can receive on leaving the armed forces. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Kenneth Minima is a guest of honor at its pull-out ceremony for 34 retired infantry generals. He described the ceremony as a thing of joy for an officer who has attained the highest level in the military. The Chief of Army Staff was represented by the General Officer Commandant GOC 1 Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Kenneth Osuji.
The military has not changed. We had good training then, and I'm sure and I know the training that is ongoing now is still very good. For a successful military, it has to be collective effort, both individual effort and the effort of everybody put together.
Former Chief of Training and Operation Joseph Shoboki is a reviewing officer at the pulling out parade of the Jaji Military Cantonment, Kaduna State. He insists that the military which he was part of has been in capacity to defend the country with the right leadership and equipment.
The Army has so balanced my career that I experienced both command, staff, and administration. Thank God today I've been pulled out, and pulling out is part of the tradition we inherited from the British.
Commandant of the Infantry Corps, Major General Mohammed Abubakar, voiced assured his colleagues that the Army will continue in the right fight.
When officers attain the highest level in their career and they are retired, they don't go out through the back door. We pull them out formally is one aspect of the military regimentation.
The generals agreed that the Nigerian army and indeed the armed forces will surmount all the challenges that militated against their ability to deliver on their potentials. Also urged the officers and men to remain committed and ever willing to defend the territorial integrity of the nation.
It's CoreTV Primetime News. We'll be back after this time out with details on the continuing clashes between Hausa community and drivers in Ado-Ekiti. Just stay with us.
Women share the most amazing thoughts on national issues, and they do it passionately.
For most men that are educated, that are exposed, will see nothing to it.
The population and the level of poverty made me cry. No infrastructural development whatsoever. And you tell me Lagos is working?
That was an accident, and it was a one-off thing. Other than that, there has never been any situation in Nigeria where a Nigerian attacked anybody just because of where they came from.
Sharing the adorable word of women in politics every week, only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. It's CoreTV Primetime News. Now a reminder of our top stories. Over 50 heads of government expected for the inauguration of Muhammadu Buhari as President of Nigeria. Nigeria's military scores a first with the commissioning of first military-owned radio in sub-Saharan Africa. Unknown persons burnt down the popular Jauba market in Ado-Ekiti. Now, don't forget that you can also catch us on our social media platforms on Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter, CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube at youtube.com/CoreTV News. Edo State Police Command says the 14 minors arrested in a public school over cult-related activities will be treated with human face in line with laid-down rules. The State's Police Public Relations Officer Stanley Nwoche, who briefed newsmen at the command headquarters in Benin over the arrest, said the 14 students are undergoing investigation and reorientation to enable them become useful citizens. Correspondent
The PPRO, while addressing newsmen in Benin City, says the State Police Command will not disclose their full identity in order to protect them since they are minors. He, however, said as soon as the procedure is concluded, the command will address the public on its outcome. He also advised those still involved in cultism to desist, as the long arms of the law will soon catch up with them, as seen in the recent arrest of 96 cultists by the police in the state.
Secondary school students that are suspected to be members of some cult groups. For purposes of security, the name of the school is withheld, and the police moved in, and 14 students ranging from age 14 to 16, 17. I think one of them is 18. Only one is 18. Others are below 18 years. 14 of them were arrested for being members of a cult.
The PPRO added that the state is enjoying relative peace since the arrest of several persons in connection with the killings, but will not rest on its oars until crime activities are nipped in the bud.
They are minors, and we equally know the position of law in terms of criminal responsibility. So, apart from the provisions of law, there's a human angle as to how their issues is being treated. Beginning is, that is running pari passu with the investigation, is the counseling aspect of it. We are trying to have them reorientated.
There are, however, indications that some government officials suspected of being members of cult groups have fled town for fear of arrest, after about 11 of them were earlier arrested on orders of the IGP and eventually taken to Abuja.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has rearranged Okweyemi Ajua Majokpe Investment, Abdullah Alo, X-Energy, and Olanwaju Olalusi before Justice Latifa Okono of the Lagos High Court in Ikeja on an 8-count amended charge. The suspects were first arraigned before the same court for allegedly obtaining about 1.1 billion naira fraudulently as subsidy payment for 15,206,733 metric tons of premium motor spirit from the federal government. At Friday's rearrangement, prosecuting counsel Sei Duarte brought an amended 8-count charge against the suspect, alleging that they obtained over 798 million naira from the federal government in unearned subsidy payment for 20 million metric tons of premium motor spirit, PMS. All the 3 accused persons and their companies pleaded not guilty to the charges. The prosecution prayed the court to allow him recall 5 prosecution witnesses, while defense counsel made a request for their client to continue with the bail terms earlier granted. Consequently, Justice Okono acceded to both demands and adjourned the matter to October 20, 21, 22, 27, 28, and 29, 2015 for continuation of trial. The crisis between drivers and the Hausa community in Ado-Ekiti has escalated and taken another turn. Oja Erekeson, the King's Market, has been consumed by the crisis, and it was raced down by unknown persons in the early hours of Friday. This is coming as an alleged reprisal attack as victims count their losses. The governor has ordered immediate evacuation of houses to a safer place, even as the police chief denies being partisan. Rashid completes the story.
While the dusk to dawn curfew is expected to stem the tide of crisis in Ado-Ekiti, the height of lawlessness was executed in the wee hours of Friday, where the popular Ojaba market was razed down in an apparent reprisal attack. The fire, which reportedly started about 1 a.m., lasted for several hours as firefighters battled with the inferno. All commercial activities in Ado-Ekiti has been paralyzed due to this development.
The Ado market is on fire. I started calling people that I know. Somebody came around. When we first got here, we were now allowed to enter the main market. Some people are saying that some Hausa people are there with their arrow. So, and they were speaking Hausa language. So nobody can risk him or her life to enter the market.
The victims of the fire incident lament their losses as they weep uncontrollably.
So I went to my house yesterday. So coming back this morning, I heard that my market was demolished. It was burned. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to say. Please assist me.
I didn't do anything with them. They are fighting with garage people. I didn't know what happened. All of our goods, everything are burned. We didn't pick anything.
The angry people accuse the police of providing shield for the perpetrators, even as they barred the traders from evacuating the little that is left of their properties. The police chief, however, denies this, saying reinforcements are being brought from neighboring states.
What do for here is not good. The security is supposed to support Yoruba for here, then they fight against Yoruba for here again. When you are outside, we don't bought something for here. Outside, Aboki, outside for Mopo, they're going to support Aboki again. We're supposed to be like that.
They say a lot of these people stay within this market area. So it did not take movements from one end to the other. It's like people who domicile here must have seized the opportunity. You know, when there is curfew, it does not take you away from your house. It does not take you away from your compound. So if you stay within your vicinity and decide to be mischievous, you can still do that. So that's where we are trying to investigate.
The governor expressed regret over the turn of events. He, however, ordered immediate evacuation of the houses to Shasha community in Ikere-Ekiti.
I'm short of words. I thought we got over it yesterday, but with this,
It's a very disturbing moment for us, for government, for the people, and it's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate.
Everybody here must relocate to Shasha for peace to reign in the next 24 hours.
As traders continue to count their losses with anger bottled up, all eyes are now on security agencies to make arrests and forestall breakdown of law, even now that the crisis has claimed another casualty. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
The Senate has summoned Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and her Petroleum Resources counterpart, Desiani Alice to appear before a panel probing the lingering fuel scarcity on Monday next week. Also invited to face the panel are the Group Managing Director, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Managing Director, Petroleum Product Pricing and Regulatory Agency, and the Director of the Department of Petroleum Resources. The Joint Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources, Upstream and Downstream also want representatives of the Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, and the National Association of Road Transport Owners to explain their sides of the story. Chairman of the two committees is Senator Emmanuel Porka, Upstream, and Magnus Abi, Downstream, explained in a joint statement that the invitation of the public officers and groups was as a result of the assignment handed to them by the Senate. The session is expected to begin at 10 a.m. A civil rights group, Social Action, has called on the federal lawmakers to expedite action on passing petroleum industry bill into law before the tenure of the 7th National Assembly winds down. The group made the call at a news conference in Abuja against the backdrop of last-minute efforts to pass the bill. Programs Officer of the group, Vivian Belon, noted that passage of the PIB into law will help promote transparency and accountability in the sector. She also faulted a provision in the bill that did not give a definite date to end gas flaring in the country.
What the country is losing by not having the PIB. We cannot even begin to quantify what you only ask a monetary, you're only talking of naira and kobo. What we are losing is much more than just the naira and kobo. It is huge. Now, recently, perhaps you do not have, but I have several persons, several relations or friends of mine that I have lost to cancer. Many. There are several persons, including myself, that is suffering from one ailment or the other. I have breathing-related complications. Perhaps you could hear the sound of my voice. This is directly related to the kind of air that we breathe where we are coming from. It is directly connected to the kind of water we have drank for years, which have settled in our system and have messed up our system. So for you to begin to ask naira, I say, what is the cost just in naira and kobo? It's not even about the money that we are losing. It is huge. You know, they should just pass this bill, at least for the sake of the lives of people. There are a lot of community men and women out there that cannot come here to Abuja to advocate for this.
CoreTV Primetime News will take another break and be back with business, sports and stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
Every day of the week will bring to you divergent views on news making the headline.
If people who commit crime are being rewarded with national honors, with national appointments, then where are we going in this country?
It's not about whether it was Jonathan or whether you are going to have a Buhari. It's the kind of political structure we run.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
We are talking about a Buhari who at 41 became head of state. The man did not exhibit the attribute of somebody that is strong intellectually.
So, comrade, you're saying if you become governor, you're going to bring back Okada? You will bring back the market women on the streets?
They don't put words in my mouth.
On Core Digest, we bring all of this to the court of public opinion, where you are the judge.
Welcome back. It's CoreTV Prime Time News now. Time for business. The Bank of Industry (BOI) has called on the federal government to play a close look at funding investment in the solid mineral space, noting that the industry has the potential to attract huge foreign exchange if developed. The Managing Director, BOI, Mr. Rashid Olaoluwa, explained that most countries in the continent have been able to achieve economic growth because of they have invested a lot of resources into developing their natural resources. The United Nations Economic Commission for Africa had recently noted that growth derived from natural resources has not delivered goods in terms of addressing poverty due to lack of leakage and exploitation. Olaoluwa, during a media parley to hint the media on its milestone achievement under the new administration, pointed out that Nigeria has not been able to develop its solid mineral space, calling on the federal government to fund a geological data in the country and conduct an international bid to develop the industry. According to UNECA, Africa sits on 30% of the world's natural resources, with 70% of coltan deposits from which electronic microchips are made. The BOI boss, however, stated that the Development Finance Institute has an authorized capital of about 250 billion naira, which is said 146 billion naira forms its paid-up capital. It said in terms of non-performing loans, NPLs, the bank recorded a relative high NPL in the past, but stressed that the bank had embarked on a number of initiatives reduced the NPL recovering loans that were not properly monitored. Stakeholders in the maritime sector have cautioned the federal government against what they described as hasty implementation of the national automotive policy introduced in 2013. Speaking at a town hall meeting on the national automotive policy put together by Ships and Ports Communication in Apapa, Lagos, they advised necessary government agencies to ensure that auto assembly plants start rolling out locally assembled vehicles before the policy is implemented. They also accused some auto assembly plants of allegedly hiding under the policy to import fully built units of vehicles under the guise of semi-knocked down SKD units, with the intention of defrauding the government of import duty. In his presentation, Director General of the National Automotive Council, NAC Aminu Jalal, said government spent about $7.5 billion on importation of imported new, used and spare parts into the country in 2013 alone. Jalal said Nigeria had a growing middle class of 40 million people with a potential vehicle market of 1 billion units annually. European Union, EU and Development of Financial Institutions, DFI, from Germany have called on the incoming government to expedite action on the completion and consumer bill. AU country representative Leonard Ugboaja made the call Thursday in Abuja at the end of a two-day public policy dialogue on integrating the consumer's voice into the trade policy process in Nigeria. Ugboaja stressed on the need for the incoming government to speed up action on the bill, which is said has provided that at least 1% of VAT should be to fund consumer protection activities. On his part, Trade and Policy Manager of the EU, Alex Ritz, said there was a need to strike a balance between consumer and producer welfare in trade policy formulation process by fully involving the consumers. Also speaking, the ECOWAS Director of Trade, Benga Obideyi, stressed on the need to include the consumer's voice into the trade policy process in the country. Obideyi stated that consumers' voice is a missing link in the trade policy discourse in Nigeria. It's now time to join Franco Malape for Stock Market Report. Over to you, Frank.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report. Hello there, thank you for joining me on Stock Market Report tonight. I'm Frank Omalape. Equity markets on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange depreciate further today as the all-share index shared by 0.54% to close at 34,272.09 basis points. The market capitalization also decreased to close at 11.644 trillion naira. In all, a total of 202 million units of shares valued at 2.1 billion naira exchanged hands in 3,359 deals. And the top gainers now, Better Glass led the top gainers to close at 36.40 kobo, topping the gainers chart with 1.73 kobo price difference, followed by the Oil, Nestle, Julius Berger, and Dangote Cement. On the flip side, 40 oil topped the charts to trail closely by Seplat Petroleum, Total, Guinness, and Nigerian Breweries. Meanwhile, Mansard Insurance topped the top trades, followed by Access Bank and First Bank of Nigeria Holdings, NEM Insurance, and Guarantee Trust Bank. And to wrap up the stock market report today, here is the currency trades.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
There you have it, Stock Market Report with Frank Omalape. Now time for sports. Bayern Munich coach Pep Guardiola says it's unrealistic for people to expect him to win the treble with Bayern Munich and repeated his desire to stay at the club. The coach has come under heavy criticism for the Bavarians' exit from the Champions League semi-finals at the hands of Barcelona and being knocked out of the DFB Pokal on penalties at the same stage by Borussia Dortmund. But the Spaniard has hit back at the expectancy at the club as a result of predecessor Job Hennick's treble success in 2013. Guardiola will be hoping Bayern can arrest a run of 4 consecutive defeats in domestic matches since they were crowned champions of Germany at the Allianz Arena against mid-table Mainz on Saturday. Carlo Ancelotti is optimistic he will remain at Real Madrid, but says his future will be decided after the final match of the season against Getafe on Saturday. The Italian coach guided the club to European glory last season, but will end the season trophyless, leading to reports Napoli boss Raffan will replace him in the summer. Ancelotti says he still has work to do at Madrid, however, and believes he will be in charge this time next season. The Italian added that the club have told him that the summit meeting will be held with him after the final match of the season against Getafe. He, however, says he expects to be in charge of the Spanish Giants at this time next season, adding that he has seen no sign of a deterioration in relationship between President Florentino Perez. Napoli boss Rafael Benitez has emerged as a leading candidate to become the next Real Madrid manager. Current Real boss Carlos Ancelotti is widely expected to leave his post after this weekend final game of the season against Getafe. Talks between the parties are underway, with 55-year-old Benitez Napoli contract due to expire next month. Although no agreement has been reached, West Ham have also made contact with the former Liverpool and Chelsea boss. Sam Allardyce, currently preparing West Ham for Sunday's game at Newcastle, is set for talks about his future early next week. Benitez began his coaching career at Real Madrid B and has also managed Valladolid, Osasuna and Inter Milan. While at Liverpool, he famously led the side to victory in 2005 Champions League final and also tasted success at the FA Cup and UEFA Super Cup. In a brief spell in charge of Chelsea in the 2012-2013 season, he stressed the Blues to victory in the Euro League. During his time in Italy with Napoli, He has won the Coppa Italia and led the club to the semi-finals of the season Europa League. Emmanuel Adebayo has been granted compassionate leave by Tottenham Hotspur for a second time this season to return to Togo to sort out his personal issues. Spurs head coach Mauricio has excused Adebayo from training this week and the final game of the season against Everton at Goodison Park on Sunday. He also will not travel on the post-season tour to Malaysia and Sydney. Adebayo has made a series of allegations against his family over Facebook in recent weeks that have prompted concerns over his mental state. The latest of his messages accused brother Kola of holding a knife to his throat and included claims that he often considered suicide as a result of his family troubles. Nigeria's Queen of the Tracks, Blessing Okagbare, has said her target in the new athletics season is to be at the #1 spot. The new athletics season began last week with the Doha and Shanghai Diamond Leagues, and Okagbare, who began her season with a 10.98 win in the women's 100 meter in Shanghai last Sunday, said she hopes to end the season in the top spot. Okagbare said the win in Shanghai would help boost her confidence as she goes about achieving her target. She also said that she would work more on her sprint to better her time and starting in upcoming races. The 2014 Commonwealth Games double gold medalist ordered that she would ensure she add the long jump to her events this season. The Islamic, it's CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another break and come back with stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. Now outside Nigeria, the Islamic State ISIS group says it was behind the suicide bombing on a Shia mosque in Saudi Arabia that killed at least 10 people. The attack in Saudi Arabia's eastern province is the first to be claimed by the Saudi branch of ISIS, which was formally established last November. The claim was posted on Twitter with an image of the bomber by an account that is a reliable source on the group. He has previously threatened to attack Shia Muslims in Saudi Arabia. Witnesses reported a huge blast at the Imam Ali Mosque in the village of Al-Qaidi in Qatif Governorate during Friday prayers. A doctor at the hospital said at least 10 people had been killed and about 70 were injured, some very critical. The Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant has captured Syrian ancient city of Palmyra, giving them control of almost half of the country, according to the Mediterranean group. Located in central Homs province and in the heart of Syria, Palmyra lies 210 kilometers northeast of Damascus in desert that stretches to the Iraqi frontier to the east. The UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said on Thursday that ISIL now controls approximately 95,000 sq.km of land in 9 out of 14 provinces since they declared their alleged caliphate, which puts them in control of almost half of the country. The Syrian government previously lost the town of Busra in Dera province to ISIL in March, which had also been declared by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. In April, ISIL managed to capture and control most of Yarmouk, which is a 10-kilometer away from the center of Damascus. Yarmouk is mostly inhabited by Palestinian refugees At least 462 people were killed since ISIL's offensive began on Pamir on May 13. David Cameron has said he is determined to perform Britain's relationship with the EU as he begins discussions with other European leaders on his plans. At a summit in Latvia, he will outline changes he wants to see, including restrictions and benefits for migrants. The Prime Minister said he expected lots of ups and downs, but was focused on giving people a proper choice in the referendum due to be held in 2017. EU leaders are in Riga to discuss relations with ex-Soviet states. Cameron said this issue was very important in its own right, but the gathering was also an opportunity to start some of the discussions about reform of the EU. The Prime Minister is meeting his European counterpart for the first time since securing his re-election and a majority Conservative government. Cameron has not revealed the full details of what he is seeking from any changes, but he is expected to demand an opt-out from one of its core principles to forging an ever closer union between member states. It's CoreTV Primetime News. Just before we go, a recap of our major headlines. Over 50 heads of government expected for the inauguration of Muhammadu Buhari as President of Nigeria. We also told you that Nigerian military scores a first with the commissioner of first military-owned radio in sub-Saharan Africa. You also heard from us that unknown persons burned down the popular Ojauba market in Ado-Ekiti. Outside Nigeria, we told you that the Islamic State claims responsibility for suicide bomb attack and Shia worshippers at Imam Ali Mosque in Saudi Arabia. And that's our show for tonight. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Gift or Geta. Do have a lovely night rest. Good night.